You heard my Zoom channel just now.
No, yeah, I'm ready. I was born ready this Friday.
Okay, well, when you want to start, I will press start. So.
Yes, I will share in Google Meets. Okay, let me go to the presentation. Oh. Okay, looks like I need those 2 minutes after all.
Well, that's okay.
Give permission to the grid browser. Record contents of the screen until this grid. That's okay. I don't need to record. Okay, let me try again.
Okay, start your time.
Perfect.
Okay, so the problem we've heard a lot before already with the other teams in cargo compliance. It's a huge paper land, a huge amount of forms to be filled and signed and stored and get lost. There's obviously the transition towards more digitization of these forms and of these interactions with the shipment. But when digitizing, you also have to think about the identity, not only of those documents, that you can sign those documents, but who is signing those documents. And in a digital world, the conventional ID using a passport is just not going to cut it. Well, luckily, there is this amazing development in self-sovereign identity that can solve a lot of these issues. By giving digital identities to human actors, to machines, to sensors, to documents and shipments. But there's still a problem because those self-sovereign identity solutions, they depend on an individual mobile device being used by every human actor. But there are situations where this is not possible. You cannot have every KLM employee walk around the cargo terminal using their personal mobile phone that also holds their Facebook and their Twitter to start signing all kinds of documents and transactions. So our focus has been on a very small building block because we realize that we are in a challenge with teams that have a huge capacity in solving the digital trail, but we want to provide a building block that can actually make it possible to use the benefits of self-sovereign identity and digital identity. So how do we do that? We have three technical parts in our solutions, and they're fully agnostic, and that means that you can use any provider of those technical parts. One is the physical SSI identifier, the EID card. This one is interoperable with any SSI provider from any of the teams from the SSI Challenge, for example. And you can use it to store the employee credentials on it and to let employees sign with their digital ID on this physical card. And why is this necessary? Because then you can have one company mobile device that's managed by the company, and every time something needs to be signed, the employee will log in with this NFC card and sign the transaction with this NFC card and can prove his attributes, his credentials, that he's authorized to do so. We're also working on a documents blockchain that should be EIDAS compliant for legal reasons to have qualified signatures and that can work with this EID and the qualified signatures and qualified e-delivery. And yeah, as I mentioned, these parts are fully interoperable and compliant with all kinds of regulations and certifications, such as VIDO and EL6 plus security for the HSM, the secure module. And yeah, so the SSI provider, that's not us. We can work with any other provider. We can bring on our partners from Spherion. We can bring out our partners from Visma, who are in a team, from Tycon, from commercial.network. So it's about interoperability. Here we have an overview of what the pilot might look like. Where we have Merck and DHL and KLM Cargo in the use case where DHL is picking up a shipment of vaccines from Merck and is then transporting that to KLM. Each of these parties will have their own benefits. For Merck, the main focus will be on preventing anti-counterfeit products, because you can ensure from the start of the chain that every time that a handoff takes place of the shipment, you can verify that the actors that are involved are authorized to do so, that they work for Merck, that they work for DHL, that they have the accreditations to do that transaction. For DHL, it's the same thing. The fact that they can use SSI and this simple physical identifier that can be integrated in their own mobile application, their own workflow. It means that they can also hire subcontractors for the transport and still rest assured that that only the authorized transporters will be acting on their behalf and not some imposter. For KLM Cargo, again, it's about a simplified means to verify and authenticate the actors and the shipments, and to have a safe handover. And it will also ensure that you're not allowing access to any actors that are not supposed to enter the premises of KLM. So that was in short the three slides. I would like to demo also the cards themselves. Now, the thing is, I have them here, of course, but due to COVID, our team was also distributed amongst the country and amongst Europe even, and my developer is not here physically, so we had to do it by means of a recording. So if you will allow me, I would like to switch the screen. Can I get a quick confirmation that I'm being heard and listened? That's always.
Yes, I can hear you properly.
Yes. Always at some point. Okay, 1 sec.
10-4, loud and clear.
Yeah, thanks.
We now see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So we recorded the video to show you how it works, and I'll talk you guys through. This is the demo application to show how easy it is to use these NFC cards as an eID card. So in the first step, we already issued a few credentials to these cards together with we did that both with Tycon. You can now scan the card. The card is there behind the phone. And here you see a number of credentials, a photo, a selfie that was made by my developer Susanne. The personal information has been entered, the social security number has been entered, and the fact that she's over age 21 has been entered. Now these three credentials, the employee at the Merck distribution center, it's none of their business what is the first name and the last name. they need to know if this person that's standing in front of them is actually a DHL driver. So Susanna, she's a DHL driver working for DHL, but she doesn't have that credential yet. So she's going to request the credential that she actually works for DHL. And for that, she's going to scan this QR code that's presented by in the DHL ERP system. And then she can load the credential that shows that she is an employer, that she is employed by DHL. This is the JSON file. The next thing to show quickly is how you can verify this credential by scanning the card. And now you will see the photo, the selfie, and the credential. We also recorded a workflow to show you what it would look like broadly in the use case of the air cargo flow. As I mentioned, the big benefit of this card physical identifier is that you can have multiple employees log into a company managed device. So first you will log in into the device. It will ask for your NFC card, and you tap the NFC card, which is protected with the PIN code, and then you're logged in. Now here we see a list of packages, list of transport shipments. This is from the perspective of the Merck DSM employee, and he is about to start a new shipment. So a new shipment needs to happen. You need to scan the QR code that's printed on the shipping label that represents the shipment. And here you can see who is supposed to pick up that shipment. Someone from DHL is supposed to pick that up. Now there's Susanna at the gate, and she says she works for DHL. But yeah, you want to be sure, so ask for the NFC identifier, and just like you saw in the previous video, you can now verify the credentials on that identifier. You see the photo, you see that she works for DHL. Okay, all good, and then you can transfer the shipment. Now, of course, on the other side, Susanna will do the same thing. She will log in, she will present her NFC card, and she will accept the shipment. And that's pretty much it. For illustration purposes, we made a slide dashboard where you can see the different steps. I see now it's a little bit small. Can I zoom in? No. Well. It's not that important. This is a dashboard where you would see the handover, and here you can see it's picked up by someone from DHL, and then you can click also on DHL to see all the different credentials that are assigned to DHL itself, such as ISO certificates or other IATA and GS1 type of credentials. That's it. Yeah.
I must say, in the jury briefing, it says that do not make a video. It will not be reviewed by the jury. So I want to let all the teams know that we see it as a video. We understand your problem, but it is basically not allowed. So I want to let all the teams know that we have read the jury briefing, and we will take this into consideration.
Oh, I did not see that. Announcement.
And there's 6 minutes left.
There's how many minutes left?
Okay, so basically, I think well, we have yeah. So the video is a little bit of an item here, but I did see a hand and somebody using a phone because the purpose is to show something that's working. Let's not focus on that for now. We will discuss it in the jury deliberation later on. I would like to use Caspar. Thank you for your concept and your demo. I would like to go to the jury members as we only have 6 minutes left. So shoot.
Yeah.
Caspar, a question for me. Where is this information stored? So let's say differently, who is creating basically the access and connecting the NFC with an employee?
That's done in the ERP system by the employer.
Okay. So every employer, so DHL can do it for their company. We as KLM can do it for our company.
Yeah.
And also, how will we make it visible for the other company that somebody is allowed? So if let's say differently, if I put a new employee in the system as a KLM person, how can we make this accessible for DHL, or is it?
You issue the credential to the employee, and that credential that he's your employee is stored on the NFC card.
Okay.
And at that point, when you want to know that, you will ask for the employee's ID card, and then you get to see if you're allowed to see that, you get to see that credential.
Okay, clear.
And so this solution is really focused on the physical identification of the one who is handing over the shipment. Yeah. Is there also something connected with the shipment itself? How do we know that they didn't swap up a different package?
There certainly is, but that can be done by means of just of a QR code printed on the label. We have that also in this very small screen. Actually, the QR code is there. And that's what the employee also scanned when he was about to start a new shipment. So you scan the QR code of the shipping label, and that represents the DID of the shipment. And in order to transfer custody of that shipment, we could create a non-fungible token that is then transacted from one custodial to the other by means of signing with the NFC card. That's what happens in the background.
So then again, MSD, for example, is putting in the first information about the shipment, and then that gets transferred, or this is just based on the handover moment?
Can you repeat? I'm not sure I understood right.
Like the data that is visible or shareable among all the supply chain parties, that's just focusing on the handover moments, or that's also including more data assets?
In this use case, this is just presenting the handover moment. But the essence of this aspect is that the same principle applies throughout the entire chain for any interaction with the shipment. When you are scanning the shipment, the shipping label, and you are about to provide, for example, a compliancy check as a compliancy officer, you will use your company device to complete all the compliancy checks, and then you will sign this information using the DID on your NFC card, and that is then broadcasted to the blockchain and can be put into a dashboard like this, or a dashboard like Eon Pass or Keycloak or whatever. So it can be in any point where there is a interaction where information is added to a shipment, whether that's a change of custody or it's sensor data or it's a compliancy check. That needs to be, you need to know who is adding that, and you need to have a trail. You need to be able to verify that the person that added this compliancy check, that said this has fulfilled all the things, that he actually has the right credentials to do so. So you want to be able to see that he has the credential, that he is authorized by customs to do this type of check.
Yeah. Okay.
Caspar, can you, so if I understood well, you're also now assigning a task basically to, or let's say a shipment to a driver, correct? So if the driver comes in for a certain shipment, is there also going to be a check that he or she, even if he's a let's say an approved driver, that he or she
It is time in 5 seconds.
That he's allowed to pick up the shipment?
Yes, for simplicity reasons, we now only added one credential that says.
Sorry, we have to stop. It is time.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to validate whether Stijn, whether you had a question that we didn't get to, or is it clear for you? Do you have enough information as a jury member?
Really short one then.
Wait, it's not fair for the other teams. 90 minutes is 90 minutes.
Yeah, but I want to have a fair jury deliberation as well.
Okay. I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, just a 10-second answer, Caspar, to Stijn's question.
Well, there are a lot of actors involved that need to change their processes when they need to change to these to this application and the things that they need to do. What would be your unique selling point for them to change?
10.
That is completely agnostic, and it can be integrated in their own ERP systems. They don't need to implement our application. They can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Caspar. Great answer, very short to the point. Guys, again, also for you, Caspar, and your team, sorry about that misunderstanding. It was in the deck, but I think you have given a great overview. For the other teams, I want to emphasize that having this video will not kind of skew our decision towards Gimli or whatever. We will take into consideration that what the rules are, and so don't fret about that. We're going to look at several items about the ecosystem. We're going to look at the pilot, at the solution, at the prototype, at the team wow factor. Nobody of you created a meme with a cat on my head, so thank you for not doing that. I really appreciate that. And I think we'll be moving shortly to the big celebration on the big screen in about 4 minutes.